tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today, we are bringing you the latest from the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts universe. And the name of this one is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. And here's a quick synopsis, then we'll get into the cast into the film. Professor Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts Newt to lead an intrepid team of wizards and witches as they encounter an array of old and new beasts as they clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. And this one is directed again by the incomparable David Yates. It stars Eddie Redmayne, Jude, Ezra Miller, Dan Fogler, Alison Sunyi, Colin Turner, Jessica Williams, Catherine Walderson, and Mads Mikkelsen, who is replacing Johnny Depp playing Grindelwald in this film, which is highly important because if you don't remember that and you just see at the beginning of this film his introduction, it could throw you off. So when you go in knowing who Mads is playing from the beginning, it really, really helps. As when this film opens up, we get an amazing scene between him and Jude Law that, for me, and this is a weird comparison for some people, is very reminiscent of Heat. The scene at the diner with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. It is very reminiscent of that scene in its setup and in its intensity between those two characters when they meet. And it's also in this scene we find out, I'm not going to say this is something surprising. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say anything. We find out a key part of their relationship when it pertains to this scene between Dumbledore and Grindelwald that really propels the film. This film, in general, between every relationship dealing with it, is a very tragic love story type of film. Whether it be the love of a couple, as we have seen as this series has continued, or whether it be the love of family and a tragedy that comes along with it. This film just feels like a tragic, grounded, wizardy, action-packed at times, love story, very much emotionally driven film. This is what people wanted Crimes of Grindelwald to be, and what it wasn't. Every flaw that was in that film is corrected in this film. Whether it was the overly plotted second film that, again, it just felt like it was all over the place. Here, we get key points and key elements. We know from the beginning of this film what we're about to get here. And when we get it, there's no, well, let's also add this in it. It's very much a character-driven story with characters that you know already. And that's what makes this film so great. So again, one of the biggest flaws that a lot of people felt from not just the second Fantastic Beasts film, but the first one, was the point that J.K. Rowling is the only person who writes them. But here we got one of the veteran writers from the Harry Potter series actually stepped in with to help her do the screenplay for this film. And it kind of shows. This film, in this wizarding world, because that's where most people are going to compare it to, it plays so close to me to A Prisoner of Azkaban in just its very dark tone. While this is still a family film, it's a very serious family film. While it does interject humor in here, and it's humor that works amazingly well, especially by the incomparable, let me make sure I get the right actress. Yes, Jessica Williams. She is amazing in this film. And just how strong of a character she is playing Lally in this film works wonders in this movie. She, to me, is the most interesting new character introduced in the Harry Potter universe so far. And I know that says a lot because Newt is a very interesting character unto himself. But her character, I think, has the potential to be the perfect type of supporting character for these type of films. And she's amazing in this role. I could not tell you or gush over her anymore, but just to say, you may come there to see The Secrets of Dumbledore, but after you see what Jessica Williams does in this role, you're going to be hooked on her. I think everybody was by the end of the screening that I saw this film at. So, again, as the film introduces, we do get a reveal of Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship and why that they go about pursuing each other the way that they do, and why they both always get help in pursuing each other to attempt to take each other out. It is a very powerful statement. It leads to us getting not necessarily a secret. We kind of already knew who Dumbledore was because J.K. Rowling told you up front that, Dumbledore is a gay character. So that's not a secret to anything that he's a gay character here. So it deals with a love story without giving you the other stuff. It's spoken in word, not necessarily shown in actions. And that's the key part here. But at no point in time do you question that these two characters were in love with one another. And that is the key part here, is to show the love. Where you see Newt and his love for his beast and his love for his brother, and his relationship with his brother in this film is amazing, played by Colin Turner, who plays his brother in the movie. It's amazing just to see them two interject. We finally get to see them go on a little mini adventure with one another in this film, and that's something else you want to see. And then you have Dan Fogler and Alison Suni, who, again, they are the romantic couple in the Fantastic Beasts universe. And here we get to see as their love is tested and the things they must go to get back to one another. So in the end, this is a film, tragic love story, but definitely a war-driven film. Some of the action sequences of this film remind you just how great David Yates is at shooting this magical action. Like, some of these setups and set pieces are amazing. You never expect any film in this series to look bad, even when the film, like Crimes, the second film in the series, is bad. It never looks bad. And here it looks amazing. Just the tone that they take with everything. The setups, just the wizarding fights in this movie. All of it works wonders to tell a story that I think will keep everyone intrigued. And I think that is the key here. People won't admit it, especially Warner Brothers. But after the second film, you needed a correction. Because that second film was too flawed to exist in this universe. So when you're coming back with a third film and you have to get that audience back involved in it, back intrigued into what the Fantastic Beasts film series will be, they took a little bit of a pivot and said, hey, we can introduce Fantastic Beasts, but boy, we're going to bring you closer to the Wizarding World side of this, to still bring you back and let you understand that you are still in this Harry Potter universe, and we're just giving you different characters in it, including even giving us Hogwarts in this film, which looks amazing still in this film. It speaks volumes of the way they feel the need now to set up this universe, and you want to separate it from Harry Potter, but you still want it to be connected enough that people know and understand this is the same world, just a different time period, and they do a great job of that. And then I must speak on Mr. Jude Law playing Dumbledore. I know I had questions from the beginning of him playing this character and exactly what you were going to do with Dumbledore. The quietness that Dumbledore has always been played on screen, you kind of wondered, will Jude Law attempt to overdo it and not bring you that? Here, all those questions are erased. Him and Matt's scenes together are magnificent. They're scenes together that I don't think him and Johnny Depp could have pulled off. And I believe Johnny Depp is a great actor, but I don't think he could have pulled this off with Jude Law. Jude Law as Dumbledore is perfect. As perfect as Eddie Redmayne is as Newt. But as Dumbledore, Jude Law is perfect. There's not a flaw in anything he does here. He embodies everything that you would think Dumbledore would be, including sending the team out on quests, which felt very, very Harry Potter-ish when he was doing it. Just the point that he's younger doing this and he understands the bigger picture and how to set things in motion is amazing. Ezra Miller, I know people are questioning because he was so bad in the second film. Here we kind of see maybe it was the screenplay that was bad, because Ezra's not bad. He's very limited in this film, but in his scenes he's not bad, and it works really well. Just the overall setup of the story we get with the Secrets of Dumbledore, and he plays a very key part of this. And Mads is a madman in this film. He's the perfect villain. He's the perfect Grindelwald. Like, he's everything people were praying for Johnny Depp to be. He is in this movie. He never feels like he's playing a character like Johnny Depp did in this film. And you're just terrified of him. He doesn't even have to raise his voice or speak loudly. Sometimes it's just a look that he gives on screen, and it builds up that fear and anxiety in you. And I think that's what the key thing, is a key element they wanted for this film. Now, the third act of this film is almost perfect. The ending is not. The ending can leave some questioning, okay, what are we doing? But the third act as a whole is almost perfect. For the first two acts, it is very reminiscent of the first Fantastic Beasts film, which is good because that's a film that most people liked. By the third act of this film, between the games they play, the wizarding fights, everything of that, the emotional, hard-hitting moments of it, it is a great third act. It is something that everybody should sit around and wait for, and you're going to love it just as much as I want to say you possibly loved any third act in not just the Fantastic Beasts series, but the Harry Potter series. I think it is amazing, and it amazingly sets up something magical, something that I think people are waiting to see, as we still have 2 more chapters of this series to go, and exactly where are we going to go with this series. This film leaves the good questions moving forward and not the bad ones that the second one left of, are they going to clean up this? Are they going to clean up that? By the end of this film, most of the issues from the second film have been cleaned up. If they haven't been overly cleaned up, some things have almost been completely forgotten about. Like, they moved on to let you know those were not important things. Like, they can possibly admit that we overloaded you with too much stuff. But there's a lot of payoffs in this film. And even with its runtime being slightly longer than the first 2 Fantastic Beasts films, somehow it felt shorter. Like, by the end of the film, I'm like, is this it? It felt like a short film, but it's because it's a constant ride. It's never a dull moment, and that's highly important in this series. Again, very reminiscent of Prisoner of Azkaban. It was the short film of the series, and it felt even shorter because it was constant action and it was constantly something going on. That's how this film moves. It is constantly something going on. It is very funny moments in this film, extremely touching, thought-provoking moments, action moments, everything humanly possible. The first real representation of an LGBTQ relationship in a main big-budget blockbuster movie. Other people have hinted towards it. This film kind of hints towards it, but you know that the relationship that exists is amazing the way they set that up. And I think everyone will love it. The payoff is great. This is, again, the best Fantastic Beasts film of the series that I think everybody should check out. So, Fantastic Beasts from Warner Brothers. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Fantastic Beasts 3, Secrets of Dumbledore, an 8.5 out of 10. This is hands down the best Fantastic Beasts film out of the early series here. I'm going to say in the wizarding world, and including all the Harry Potter films, this is one of the top-notch films. It's that middle pack, and definitely the bad films, but the middle pack of those films, I think this is much better than the middle pack Harry Potter films. And it's up there in tone with me to Prisoner of Azkaban, and I think a lot of people will agree with it because, again, it gives you the dark elements necessary to move the story forward. But it still gives you the lightheartedness of it that lets you understand that this is still a family film. But this is a family film that can bring serious family questions afterwards, which make the best family films. And I think for that reason alone, when you're going to see it with your little ones, hopefully not too little, because it's still a little dark for the two little ones. If you want to let your kids see Harry Potter 4 through 8, don't let them see this movie. But if they were fine seeing 4 through 8, they're perfectly fine with seeing this movie. And I think they'll enjoy it as much as I did. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.